Howdy partners, taking a look at the latest release from Mattel Creations. It is the Origins Rio Blast, and I want to dedicate this one to another huge Rio Blast fan, Sean, good brother. I like to call him Slick, from the days when we grew up on Halsted Street in Chicago. Taking a look at the fastest draw in the universe, and I'm going to be comparing him once I get him out of the package with the original 1986 Rio Blast. These Origins figures are fantastic for people who don't want to drop all the money on the originals, plus the originals sometimes aren't in great shape. They're broken. The backpack on this guy keeps breaking. It's made of some pretty brittle, not quite extremely Gold Plastic Syndrome style brittle plastic, but I've dropped him and something broke back here. Not to mention the Mattel old plastic kind of gets sticky. His head is sticky. The arms are fine. The rest of the body is fine, but there's definite stickiness on the head. So this is a fantastic alternative to have something that basically looks exactly like the original. A little bit more articulation. Get a mint on card. I do have to warn you, if you haven't gotten any of these Mattel Creation exclusive ones, I got the Extendar for the sole purpose of keeping a mint on card hanging up on the wall. And what they've actually done here is you can't really do that, because there is a card that slides out from this plastic sleeve. It's very similar to what big rubber guys are doing right now. And there is a hole punch hole right here that hasn't been punched. And the problem though is that even if you punch that out, there's no hole in the plastic, so there's no way to hang this on a wall unless you it'd be pretty easy if you just took a hole punch, if you don't care, and just punch it right there, punch that hole out, and then you could hang it. Although it does have this little lip on the bottom which lets him sit on a shelf, and some really nice new artwork on the back too. Rio taking on the evil horde. And another little bonus of this packaging style is that you can put the card art in the other way, so that instead of the classic explosion style art, you can have your Rio displayed like that. And here's a 360 out of the package with guns not deployed. Nice looking figure. The arm fell off pulling him out of the package, which is great because it's easy to pop the arm back in. It's much better to have removable joints that are easily popped back in than a permanent break, like can happen with NECA comes to mind. And let's deploy the guns. He's got the two guns in his hands. Notice that this is new, an upgrade from the original. He's got wiring that was sculpted on in the original, and what I've already noticed is it pops out really easily. I guess if you really jam it in there, oh, it's popping out on the back as well. The backpack has a locking mechanism in it, so in the original one it just popped on like that, slid, but this one you actually have to put it on and turn it. These holes are kind of hard to get to if the backpack is on. So in order to plug this back in, and I'm actually not sure if I have this the right way. Maybe they go this way. They do have two different ends to them. So, and they're kind of on the short side. Already from playing around with them, I've noticed that if you move the arm forward, see, they just want to pop off, pop out. It's a nice rubbery plastic, like a lot of He-Man toys, so there's no real danger of breaking it, but it is a little on the tight side. It's got a chest gun, like the original one, just slides down, and then he's got thigh cannons that come out, and then he's got this gun on the back that slides up, just like the original, and you'll want to give it an extra pull. Have to give it a little bit of force. You'll hear a snap. So when you pull it all the way up like that, That looks a lot better. Covers his eyes. If you're just pulling it up till there's resistance, it rides kind of high on him. And thank goodness this is a more bendy. It's not quite rubbery like this stuff, but it's got some give to it because I just kind of pushed this, playing and pulling on this, and it didn't snap. And a 360 of Rio Blast with all guns deployed. Looks fantastic. Really cool for longtime Rio Blast fans. Not sure why it took this long for them to get to him. I guess he's just really not one of the more popular Masters of the Universe characters. But for a big fan of Westerns, Brave Star. This guy looks like he's right out of Brave Star. And let's do some comparisons with the original Rio Blast. Boy, that is tight back there. Swing all the guns in, and the sculpt is bang on. Almost seems like they remolded the original one and then just kind of added more articulation to it. Everything is so similar. Little bumps on the thigh things there. The coloration is a little bit different, but so many of the original details are recreated here. The bumps on the belt, those are supposed to be bullets. The chest panel, all very similar. And then that's what I mentioned earlier. That was molded on originally, and now they've got a real wire. That's one of the things. I love the extra articulation, but I actually would have preferred if they just stuck with the molded on wire, because in theory, sounded like a cool idea. In execution, they just pop out too much. I guess you could crazy glue that in there, but how many people are going to want to do that? There's always the idea of reselling, and as soon as you customize, paint, or glue something, probably reduces the value in it. The coloration on the original backpack is, I like it better. It's a little more silvery. This one is kind of like a lighter, cheap plastic looking silver to it. Got those deep blue eyes. Same hairstyle. Very, very similar. Don't know if it's just a remold of the original head, but it's very, very similar. Gotta have that side part that the original had. And there was some reading material included to enjoy while you're admiring your Rio Blast on your shelf. Star Marshal is what this one is called. And there is so little Rio Blast literature, I guess you could call. Not many appearances in the original mini comics. He popped up in Revelation, the Netflix He-Man animated thing. I don't think he had any lines in that, but there's a little Rio Blast adventure. Very cool. Vintage style, mini comic included. I haven't felt the need to get an opened Origins version of every single Masters of the Universe figure. For me, they fit right in with the originals, so if I can't get an original version like Scareglow, the Origins version fits perfectly. But Rio Blast is an extra special character from the original line, and he also has two different modes. So originally I was going to get this one to have him just mint on card hanging on the wall, but since that's not really an option, and plus it doesn't really go with any of the other cards because of the shiny plastic covering on it. But I think a cool way to display, if you're like me and a huge Rio Blast fan, to display your original one, if you don't want to hunt down a vintage one for a lot of money and in great shape, you could just put the Origins one next to them or back to back, and it'll save you a lot of bucks. You get a perfect brand new mint condition Rio Blast that looks almost exactly like the original one. It's got a little bit more posability, although that wire is a little bit limiting. But way more posability in the head. Get him in. I mean, these aren't really meant for Marvel Legends style or Mezco style dynamic posing. But they can do a lot more than the original figures, that's for sure. So you could have kind of like a before and after type of thing. For my Transformers, I like having on the Masterpiece shelf one in robot, one in vehicle mode, and it's kind of the same effect here. You get to have your cake and eat it too. You get to have your disguised Rio Blast and your armed Rio Blast at the same time. So there's your look at the finally released Mattel Creations Rio Blast figure. So glad they finally got around to doing him. Hope you enjoyed this review. Feel free to share with your Masters of the Universe friends or your Rio Blast friends. Be sure to check out the in-depth Rio Blast video I did on this channel a while back. Took him out to the desert in New Texas and had lots of fun with him out there. Remember to hit the like to give the video a spike, and to join the tribe, hit subscribe. Nerdmas Day, partner.